Welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show, where we try and catch absolutely anything that swims. Almost anything. Now, you can read all you want about trout, but there's one you guys might not have heard about. It's a trout. So unusual, it's named after a woman's petticoat. It's true. Read it. Anyway, it's called the Dolly Varden, and it got the name from way back in about 1870. From fishermen that caught this trout and decided to name it something a little bit more pretty than I think it was something like a bull trout or something it was. Perhaps still is known as a bull trout in some areas of the world. And they named it after a character called Dolly Varden in Barnaby Rudge book. It was written by Charles Dickens, very famous Charles Dickens book, Barnaby Rudge. Because a very pretty dress she wore, and they thought, well, this fish is lovely and pretty. We'll name it after a woman's petticoat. Cuckoo. Anyway, good luck to them, because I've been out to British Columbia, to Chilliwack Lake, and up in the mountains there, amidst the most gob-smackingly beautiful scenery, real jaw-dropping stuff, caught Dolly Varden, including some quite big ones. But here's a little clip, it's not very long, but it's the vintage section, so I look even better looking than I am at the moment. Well, that's difficult, isn't it? Let's go and check it out, the Dolly Varden trout of British Columbia. The Chilliwack Lake area has majestic coastal mountains protecting a rare area of old-growth forest. It looks spectacular, with its rugged mountain peaks and pristine clear waters, with a couple of glaciers further up the valleys. It wasn't even explored until about 1855, when the Hudson Bay Company opened up an existing Indian trail. It's a fantastic summer camping ground, but even then, due to its high elevation, you can expect cold night temperatures. Those waters are glacier fed, so very cold. Far better to sunbathe on one of those deserted sandy beaches. Or better still, hire a guided boat and go fishing for the Dolly Varden.
Okay, what you can see here is this is the bottom here, right? So what you're looking for is a little bit of a ledge, and if you find a ledge right at the creek mouth is where you're probably going to find most of the kokanee, is what the fish feed on. So that's the kind of area that you're looking for.
They're laying along the slope, aren't they?
That's right. They'll lay along the drop.
Fishing for Dolly Varden is laid back, easy and peaceful. The surroundings set the pace of the fishing. Clear mountain air, and it's a fisherman's and a photographer's dream. Then I see you using the eggs there. Is there a special way of putting them on the hook?
Well, yeah, you actually want to put them on so they stay on, obviously. So you can see that one side's loose and the other side has a little skein on it.
Yeah. So
what I like to do is you take a bait loop here and you put the hook through the skein twice, back through it.
Yeah.
And then if you make sure that the loop wraps around it sideways, it'll just snug it up there, and there's no way that the fish can get it off of there. I think one of the important things about the roe that we use is that what I find works the best is sockeye roe.
Yeah.
And the sockeye roe, of course, comes from the sockeye that we catch on the Fraser. So they're feeding off sockeye eggs, so obviously the smell of each different type of roe is totally different. Spring roe smells different than sockeye roe. And
is that right, really?
Oh, very much so. So I think in a case like this, you'll find that sockeye roe is far more effective than chum or spring roe.
Okey-doke.
So one of the other things we use here is we use what they call a buzz bomb,
yeah,
which is a jig, and all you're doing with this is you're jigging it up and down off the bottom, and what it does is it flutters down and it represents an injured kokanee.
Is that and a single hook again with a barb pinch? Same thing?
Well, even when you don't need to pinch the barb, I like to, because we release a lot of fish, and I like to make sure that we don't injure the fish as much as possible. So It's much easier to get a pinched barb out than it is to get a barbed hook out. The other thing, Dolly Varden have incredibly large, big mouths, so often the hook is buried right down in the throat, so it just makes it a lot easier to slip out.
Okie doke. Keith, do you want to have a jig with this rod?
Yes, I do, please.
Make sure to use ultralight spinning outfits. They give you the best bite detection and also some great sport.
That's a nice fish.
Yeah, lovely looking fish. Yeah, lovely looking fish. Very trout.
Little orange spots on them. Probably close to 3 pounds. I
Like
would
a
think.
brook trout marking on the pan.
Well, yeah,
Nice one. They look like they've got a pretty big mouth, Len.
They have a huge mouth, and the mouth is incredibly sharp. And Justin's going to send me one of those tools you guys have in England.
Oh, a disc gorger?
disc gorger, yeah.
So, because I'll tell you, the teeth are so sharp. Isn't that a pretty fish? Now you can see he's full of. He's full of.
That's not roes himself. That's the roe off the sockeye he's been eating. Yeah?
That's right. But they should have their own roe about now too. So.
What's that one, Len? Doesn't look like one of those dollies.
No, that's a male sockeye. That's the sockeye come up into the lake to spawn. And this guy is actually in the spawning process. When he came up, I could see some milk coming out of him.
That's the colour where they colour up, yeah?
Yeah. Now he's taken a buzz bomb there. So we must have been right over where he was spawning.
Red.
Yeah, his red. And he's grabbed the buzz bomb.
Out of aggression?
I would think so. Probably because we're right in, but right in his
patch,
his spawning area. You'll be able to see. Just a second. There we go. You'll be able to see the milk coming out, I'm sure here. Yep,
oh
see?
yeah.
So we better let him go.
Let him do his stuff.
Let him get down there and
he's gone.
Find his girlfriend.
Yeah. And what size do they go to in here?
Oh, they'll go up to 7 or 8 pounds.
Oh, really?
Probably the average is about 5 pounds, 4 or 5 pounds.
Ah, great.
But nice fish.
It's worth a move just for the high octane boat ride. With the engine cut, you can drift quietly up to any creek mouth and lower the anchor at a good fishing spot.
Yeah, that's Deep Creek. That's actually one of the creeks that is really one of the big spawning areas for the kokanee. That's why we're fishing off the mouth of it here, is because that's where the fish are going to be feeding.
So the dolly should be just in the deeper water. In what sort of depth of water?
Probably, well, I've caught them in 30 feet and I've caught them in 100 feet. So you just got to find the area that they're at and just keep checking around.
How fast to let it down then?
Well, you need to let it down fairly slowly because otherwise the bait falls back on the main line and tangles up. So you just want to let it down nice and slow until it hits the bottom.
I just need to stay on the bottom. It's got to lay there.
Yeah, it's got to be right on the bottom. Actually, what I prefer is the bait touching the bottom and the weight just slightly off the bottom. So if it's too high, you'll get absolutely nothing.
Just over their heads?
That's right. It's got to be right down where they can find it.
And what sort of bite are they going to give them?
Well, they'll usually just nibble for a bit, and then they just kind of grab it and go with it. And they
set the hook then.
Yeah, you need to set it pretty hard sometimes, especially when you're using the ultralight gear. But and the bigger fish, the big dollies have a real hard mouth, and especially in the corner of their mouth, and very often the hook doesn't actually go right in. It just so you need to really whack them sometimes. Well, I think it would probably be upwards of 6 or 7 pounds, I would think, and it could actually be 10 or 12 pounds.
Is that right? I can see him down there. Look, it's beautiful fish.
The water clarity from the glacier means you can see the dollies really deep. But forget a snorkel. That water is freezing.
And these soft action rods, they're pretty good for absorbing those
oh, absolutely,
last minute rushes.
Yeah, just don't know where that anchor rope is, so maybe if you
Ease him
do-
back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a real nice fish. You'll be surprised when he comes up.
Here he comes.
Oh, there he is.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
that's a nice fish. Yeah. That's a really nice fish.
Back here, Brian.
Right.
That's got to be, you know, that's,
6 poundish?
oh, I think it's probably bigger than that. I think it's probably at least 7 or 8. I would go probably 8ish or better. These things are incredibly heavy because they're
Look
so
at the belly
fat.
on it.
Yeah,
Huge.
that's what I mean. It's
Huge
just,
fat belly.
well, maybe not. That's 7 pounds.
It's a 7 pounder
Yeah.
do me,
Yeah,
that is fine.
That's
Good
a nice
fish.
fish.
That is a...
Put it in a net. We're just gonna.
Release him in the water.
Yeah, we'll release him in the water, and if you want to take a still, then maybe just hold his tail up.
Yeah. You get him ready for me.
He's pretty tired. Is absolutely stuffed full of kokanee. Look at the belly on him.
That is fat.
Yeah, this is one real fat fish.
And he's still going.
I know. He's got a little spunk left in him. But what a gorgeous fish.
Yeah, you say
Absolutely beautiful.
I mean, they fight well to me. You know when they come up?
Well,
They come up from such deep water.
That's right, and if you gear your tackle to the size of the fish, you can have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, and I just think they're spectacular. I mean, I catch a lot of fish, and I just love coming up here and catching these. And of course, with every fisherman, it's always the appeal that maybe you could catch a 20 or 30 pounder.
He's still going.
They are a little on the slippery side.
This is a great sideline trip to the salmon, you know?
Yeah, I think so. What it is a little break, and you see some beautiful scenery. Chilliwack Lake is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely. Easy.
That is a fat fish.
That is, yeah. There we go. Isn't that a beautiful fish?
What a spank.
Now look at the belly on that.
Red dots on it.
Yeah.
That's got to be 7 pounds.
I would say a good 7 pounds, yeah.
And a huge mouth.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
unbelievable
absolutely.
mouth.
That's a big male.
Look how it extends.
Yeah. That's a big male. Isn't that a beauty? That's a nice fish.
Well, that's made my trip, man.
Good.
Appreciate that. That's a beautiful fish.
Let's get him in there.
Get him back in again.
Yeah.
This lake is in a pristine wilderness with breathtaking scenery. We felt privileged to have even fished there.
My head's going into orbit with this video. It's the worst thing.
Go on.
Don't you laugh? I mean,
Look like a nodding dog.
They call them noddies. They call them noddies, yeah. Okay. How long is it since your rod was really bent? When did you last measure your fish with both arms extended? And why have I forgotten my lines? This is British Columbia, where the fish only come in one size, and that's big. I've just joined a group of British anglers over here on an expedition trying to find the giant white sturgeon. Now I'm really wet now because the pump is going up my trouser leg. Fuck. Oh well, it's all in the aid of science.
Oh, sorry, did I get the camera?
There's a big guy.
This is a bigger buck. I can't even quite hold on to the dude. He's being quite feisty. This is one of the larger specimens. I've just about ruined the camera here so far.
The chances of catching your first salmon, slim, think again. But here in British Columbia, you have probably the best chance in the world of catching one. And if you time your trip right, you don't catch one, you catch 5 different species of salmon. You have the pink salmon, sockeye salmon, you get Chinook salmon, you can get, I've forgotten. If you want to get the salmon, you've got to get to the river. What a dog, why don't you wrap up? Shut up, you bloody... If you... What a dog. Oh, God. Take the battery out.